Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Deco explaining why Nico Williams did not join FC Barcelona. Later in the video, we're also going to be talking about Julian Laporta as #1 target for 2026. We're also going to be speaking about Sama Nomoko, a La Masia breakout winger, and lastly speak about Yamal going on international duty. There's plenty that we have to discuss for today's video. So let's first talk about Deco explaining why Nico Williams never joined FC Barcelona. But in order for me to do that, I have to read you guys exactly what Deco stated, which was a huge interview. So this is what he said, and I quote, "If a great player like Nico Williams asks us to come when the agent looks for us, we'll talk, and that's how it's been. Football is like that. The player, for whatever reason, didn't want the conditions that were proposed. The agent has his interest, and we don't know how things are going, but there's no controversy. It's a very easy matter. We gave them a deadline to respond, but they did not even respond. They went their way, and we went ours. It's not a matter of registration guarantees. It's very simple. It's just that if you're going to negotiate, tell me everything you need and what you want, and don't change it afterwards. That's it. And I won't say any more about this topic. It's been talked about too much nonsense, even with Bilbao. So just to be clear, we didn't look for Nico Williams. It was the agent who looked for us. And if the negotiations for Luis Diaz and Marcus Rashford were a bit complicated, we had to find solutions. But the Nico deal didn't work out, and that's it. There was no big deal. We set the club's conditions, then negotiations have to be put on paper and into contract. We made it clear we wouldn't accept the conditions that they were imposing because no player is going to dictate terms to us. It's about registration guarantees. If you're negotiating, tell me everything you want from the start and don't change it later." So when you listen to what Deco stated here, clearly you can see that he was, I would just say, a little overwhelmed from the amount of questions he was receiving about Nico Williams. There was this whole agenda, this whole story that was going around stating that Barcelona wanted Nico Williams, but Nico and the agent were saying, no, we wanted this. And in the end, Barcelona just did not have the financial capacity to afford the operation of Nico, and that Nico and the agent also wanted guarantees, etc., etc. And it just looked like Barcelona were the ones that were being dragged on through this whole operation. But Deco came in to this interview and he explained it all perfectly. So to me, it looks very simple, right? Like Deco knew that Barcelona needed a different attacker for the summer of 2025, and they were looking for different alternatives. And that was true. Barcelona needed a winger. However, Deco also stated that Nico was not even a player that was highly considered in the priorities. Deco wanted different players, like for example, Luis Diaz, Marcus Rashford, maybe somebody like Rafael Leão. Deco stated, which was crazy to me, right? Like he stated that Nico was not even the type of profile that we were looking for. And that is like a huge blow on Nico, a huge blow on the agent and all of their parties. And the fact that Deco even stated that no player is going to dictate terms to us, I just can't believe that Barcelona is in this position today in a good way. Meaning, if we were doing this 7 years ago under Bartomeu, Barcelona would bend over for that player. They would say, oh my God, okay, like you're asking for this amount. Okay, no worries. Let's get a loan, or let's look to see how we can pull out some money and pay the player what he wants, pay the agent what he wants, pay the club its maximum release clause, etc., etc. We all know how Barcelona ended up when they approached negotiations in this way. Look at what happened in 2020. Barcelona were 1.3 billion euros in debt, and that is because Bartomeu was overpaying for so many players and giving out these massive wages to the players that were already there and the players that were coming in. And with Barcelona, there is much more pride, there is much more stability, there is much more a sense of self, meaning that we know who we are, we know what we stand for, we know how we want to play, and no player is going to be bigger than the Barcelona badge. That's just how it is. No player is going to dictate terms to us like what Deco insisted. Barcelona do want today, right, many players, but they're never going to say, we're willing to give you whatever you want so you can join us, whether it's through the club or through the player. Barcelona will not bother. Barcelona want to be financially healthy, and these players out there in the world of football are going to have to work within our own parameters. And here's the thing. The good thing about this whole thing is that when a player says, okay, I'm willing to work with your parameters, I'm willing to work with whatever because I just want to join the club, it also shows us that that player is committed to the club, that they're willing to come over here and really give it their all because they're willing to put the money in second place and the position to succeed and win multiple trophies first. So speaking about negotiating with big players, this is what's going to lead me towards the Julian Alvarez conversation, because Julian Laporta does have a #1 target for 2026, and that is Julian Alvarez. With Lewandowski's contract running out and no extension is likely to be made, Barcelona are likely to go big for a new striker in that summer. Now, remember, they're willing to go big, but not to the point where they're going to overextend themselves. There has been a lot of people within Julian Alvarez's circle stating almost the exact same message, that Julian is a Barcelona fan, that he does want to join FC Barcelona. And Julian Laporta's dream signing is this Argentinian striker who is now shining at Atletico Madrid. Ever since that moment he got subbed off and he went onto the bench and he was looking down, ever since that moment, Julian Alvarez started firing for Atletico Madrid by scoring a brace against Real Madrid and being consistent overall in the past 2 to 3 matches. Barcelona have always admired Julian. Like, this is nothing new. It's not like they're looking at Julian and him scoring a brace against Real Madrid and saying, oh my god, we have to get this player. Like, no. Barcelona have always wanted Julian since back in 2021. They have admired him before he joined Man City. They wanted him when he was at River Plate, but Man City won because of the finances. And the reason why Julian Alvarez left Man City is because he just felt like he was very unstable at Man City, because he was always being tossed around in different positions, and if not, sometimes not even playing because Erling Haaland was always over him. And with him going to Atletico Madrid, he went there to find more consistent minutes. And that also does mean, right, so that if Barcelona were to approach Julian, Barcelona would have to say, look, this is our finances. We have to work within these parameters. This is how much we have to pay you. But most importantly, this is how many minutes you're going to be getting guaranteed. And that is going to be a conversation that Hansi Flick is going to have with Julian by stating, I have a big plan for you. You're going to be in my starting 11. You're going to be playing with Yamal, with Rafinha, with Pedri behind you. What do you say? Do you believe in this sporting project? Do you see yourself fitting within our system? And that's going to be very important to Julian, because no one just says, I'm going to be leaving Man City that is taught and coached by Pep Guardiola to go to Atletico Madrid, where they play much more defensive football. Julian really wants to be on the field. Now, of course, the problem is always going to be that Julian is tied down until 2030 with Atletico, with a 500 million euro release clause. And Atletico Madrid are not going to be selling for cheap. So it really does make me wonder, what type of operation is Joan Laporta going to invent here? What's definitely going to help is if Barcelona let go of Lewandowski, it does free up a total of 38.5 million euros in wages. So Barcelona's salary cap is going to decrease by a lot. So now let's step aside and speak about a La Masia breakout winger. And the one winger I want to speak about, it is Sama Nomoko. The reason why his name is generating a lot of buzz is because when Barcelona sold John Virgili, the academy needed a straight up replacement, bro. Like, they needed somebody, because John Virgili was one hell of a player for the academy. And that is why Sama Nomoko has been making headlines, because he is the one that has replaced John Virgili on the wings, and he scored his first official Barça Athletic goal against Sant Andreu, sealing an away win and making headlines. Last season, he led Juvenal B with 12 goals, and he was promoted directly to Barça Athletic right after a standout preseason with Giuliano Belletti. Nomoko still plays the UEFA Youth League matches with Juvenal A. He recently also faced Newcastle and soon PSG, but Nomoko is definitely one of those players that Hansi Flick is going to be eyeing on to maybe reinforce the first team in about 2 or 3 years from today. Sama Nomoko was originally also a striker at Gornea, and he's now a rapid right winger with long strides, elite pace, and very sharp movements. Right now, there's a lot of coaches within the Barca Academy that do want to polish his first touch and his dribbles. And the fact that he has this mentality, this eagerness to learn and confidence, it is what really does make him very special today. So keep an eye on this winger. We'll see how he does develop in the future. So speaking about wingers, now let's lastly speak about Lamine Yamal, because one of the main conversations that we're all going to be having in about a week from today is whether Lamine Yamal should be going on international duty. Because let me tell you, bro, the fact that he just came back and the fact that he made that big impact against the Real Sociedad, knowing his importance and how effective he could be, I just do not want to see him play some games with the Spanish national team. I know that sounds very selfish and very self-centered, but like, dude, I just don't trust Luis de la Fuente. Flick has been very critical with the Spanish national team and how they handled Yamal. Like, for example, like Flick was furious knowing that they made Yamal take some painkillers because of a groin issue and forced him to play those 2 games, amounting to more than 140 minutes. And it states here, according to ADA, that Barcelona don't want him in the next Spain squad for the World Cup qualifiers versus Georgia and Bulgaria. The reason why Hansi Flick is so, I would just say, outspoken about this situation is because he also stated that Spain is going to be okay without Yamal. Like, Spain have great players. He's basically saying that Spain is so talented, he does not understand why Yamal needs to be there all the time. And I think that we can all understand where he's coming from, because Hansi Flick is able to master his Barcelona team without Yamal. Look at what happened in the past 4 games before Yamal made that debut against the Real Sociedad. We won all of those 4 matches without Yamal, and so Flick can find the formula. And that is why he expects Luis de la Fuente to do the exact same thing with the Spanish national team. Like, find a different alternative. It's not Yamal national team, it's the Spanish national team. Barcelona do have this specific game plan that they want to implement with the youngster, which is to activate this specialized plan, which would allow him to play versus PSG and Sevilla with a lot of therapy being involved right after, and to ensure that the pubic discomfort doesn't worsen or make a comeback. And they do think that keeping him away from the Spanish national team and making him take this break would allow him to fully recover to his best. So let me know in the comment sections down below, would you guys let go of Lamine Yamal to go to international duty and play those 2 matches for the World Cup qualifiers, which will be against Georgia and Bulgaria? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.